The United States ranks 37th in the world in overall health. 1 in 4 children are taking a chronic medication that they will have to take for the rest of their lives. 5.5 million prescriptions were written to children for blood pressure medication alone last year. The cost of obesity in our country is a staggering $192 billion every single year. We're 5% of the world's population, and we take 72% of the world's drugs. We spend 3 times more than the average developed nation treating diseases that are 95% preventable. It's not our genes, it's the choices we make every day. We are lifestyling ourselves to death, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Before Maximize Living, I had a lot of problems. I was on 13 different medications.
I was in a lot of pain.
Going to see multiple doctors, just throwing different medications at me.
And I couldn't lift my legs, I could barely walk. I was on pain meds all day long, every single day.
I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
I can't do surgery at 20 years old.
I wasn't very happy.
So now we have more diet books, websites, and infomercials than we've ever had, and we're worse off than we've ever been. And now nobody knows who to listen to. So we decided to step in and create a program that would deliver consistent results. It's not about hype, it's just results. The Maximize Living Makeover is based on the most cutting-edge science available today on hormone-based weight loss, on how to burn fat, and on how to change your behavior. And that's not just our only goal, is to help you lose a few pounds. Our goal is to change the way people view and manage their health around the world, and that's what today is all about.
But then I got off of 8 medications.
And my goal was to be able to walk down the aisle pain-free. And I got to do that last year in January.
Since I've started coming to Maximize Living, I've eliminated all my medications within a total of 4.
The biggest change that I've had is I've lost over 100 pounds.
My primary care physician, she couldn't believe it.
And I'm so thankful that my daughter introduced me to Maximize Living, because without her, my entire family wouldn't even know what it's like to be pain-free.
Over 100,000 people have gone through this exact program. Everyone from Olympic athletes to soccer moms and everyone in between. You will learn more in the next 3 hours than you've learned in the last 30 years about where true health and healing comes from. What that means to you is more time with the people that you love and more time to devote to your purpose on this planet. Your Maximize Living Makeover starts right now.
So, welcome to the Maximize Living Total Health Makeover. I'm Dr. Ben Sweeney, for those I've not met yet. Give yourself a round of applause for even making it here today, right? So, there's never really been a better time to have this type of an event, more than now, really. Really no other time in history. You heard him say there's 100,000 people that have gone through this makeover. There's actually 100,000 people across the country that are going through this makeover today. So you're actually part of a movement that's happening all across the country, where this Maximize Living Makeover is happening in 400 different offices all throughout the country. So when you look at the statistics, the reason we have to have this type of an event is because we're in a sad state. And literally SAD stands for the Standard American Diet. But it's not really just our diet. When you look at health in general, we have the highest rates of cancer, heart disease, diabetes. We have more Alzheimer's and dementia. We have more type 2 diabetes. We have more hormone problems and thyroid issues. Just when you look at digestive problems alone, we have the greatest amount of digestive issues here than anywhere else in the world. We have GERD, we have ulcerative colitis, we have chronic bowel disorders, and just literally from A to Z, we have more diseases here than anywhere else. And when it comes to obesity, we really take the cake, literally and also figuratively. 63% of our Americans are overweight, and that's about 1 billion people worldwide. Since 1980, the prevalence of childhood obesity has actually more than tripled. So it's not only just us that's getting sicker and sicker, it's also our children. When we look at the actual cost, and this was back in 2008, $147 billion per year. And now, do you think that figure is staying flat or escalating? It's skyrocketing. So literally every day it gets more expensive. We spend $7.3 billion every single day on our health or our sickness, and literally health alone is what's going to bankrupt this country. And that's sad to say, and that's scary, but literally just health problems alone has the potential to bankrupt the entire country unless something changes. In the United States, you guys probably already know this, we rank worse than any other country in terms of obesity. You could stick cancer on that title, you could put heart disease on that title, you could put thyroid problems or anything on there. We basically lead the world, the industrialized world, in just about every disease and every malfunction. When we look at our children, and this is what strikes me the most, is when our children are getting sick, it's one thing for the adults, but when our kids are getting sicker and sicker, that strikes a whole different chord with me. Now, the better way to look at this was done in the Wall Street Journal in 2008. The best way to look at these statistics is on this page here. This is kids in America. So we have about 94,000 children in this country that are on not blood pressure, but cholesterol-lowering drugs, which are called statin medications. And actually, they've been approved now for kids under the age of 8. So now they want to screen your children around age 8 to now be put on a cholesterol-lowering drug. Type 2 diabetes, we've actually renamed diabetes. If anybody knows what it was called 20 or so years ago, we used to call it juvenile onset and adult onset diabetes, and now they can't call it that because now we have children that are developing type 2 or adult onset diabetes. So we're actually renaming diseases. When you look at blood pressure drugs, 5 million kids in this country are taking blood pressure pills, and then asthma is through the roof, 45 million kids on asthma medications. Some of you guys that 50 years ago, how many kids did you know that had asthma? It was literally almost non-existent, but now it's like 1 out of 8 kids. We have 1 out of 6 kids that now have a learning disability and require some of these ADHD medications. That's 24 million kids on those. And then when you look at antidepressants and antipsychotics, that's the most depressing figure. About 15 million of our kids are taking those medications. And again, that was 2008. What do you think has happened in the last 6 years? It's getting worse every single year.
Let your freedom arise in our lives.
So ladies and gentlemen, that's maximized living. That's why you're here. This is the system that you guys get to learn. This is not a weight loss workshop, although a lot of our materials say lose 20 pounds in 30 days. So it's not a weight loss workshop, but we'll show you how to lose all the weight you would ever want to lose as quickly as you would ever want to lose it. This is not a diabetes workshop, but this system will show you how to reverse your diabetes if it's type 2. This is not an Alzheimer's or dementia workshop, but if you want to reverse or prevent those diseases, this is the system that you need to do that with, and it works almost every single time. The first essential is maximizing our mindset, and we're going to go through these later, but changing the way we think about our health. The only way to change the way we manage our health is to first change the way that we think about our health, and that's really where the biggest healthcare problem lies. The second one's maximizing nerve supply. The third is our nutrition, which I'm going to go over in just a second. The third is oxygen and lean muscle. So we have to exercise, and we have to do it in the right way, because some of you guys are working out in a way that actually sabotages your hormones and slows down your results. We're going to show you how to get the best results. And then minimizing our exposure to toxins. So we have to go through, we used to call these, well, really they should be called lies. We call them mythbusters because that's a little nicer. But yeah, these are really all lies. And the reason they're lies is because we don't get these from research journals. We don't really get this information from our doctor. The sad thing is the information we get that we base our healthcare decisions on really comes from the media. And that's a sad fact, but really all the decisions we make our health, or we base them on, come from somewhere from the media. Mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers, and mostly the media. So does the media have your interest in heart, or do they really care about your health? And clearly it's no. So the first lie is that if my mom and dad had cancer or heart disease, or if they were sick, then I'm going to be sick. So why change my diet? It doesn't really matter anyway. So really, this is the biggest one and most pervasive one, that we're victims of our genes. Nothing could be further from the truth. When they look at other cultures like Okinawans, they have the same genes we do. They have the same genes for cancer, for heart disease, for diabetes. They just never get expressed because they live better and cleaner lifestyles. When you look across the globe, there's several, not just Okinawans, but there's pockets of these people that exist all over the world. The Hunzas, Okinawans, the Vilcabambas, and my favorite are the Titicaca's. Everybody say Titicaca? I love that word. Yeah, right. So these people, they don't get what we get because they don't do what we do. But what do you think would happen if we took a Titicacan and we moved them to Franklin? Do you think they would stay healthy and live to that 110 years of nice long longevity, or will they do exactly what we do? So it's our lifestyles. The research is clear behind this. This is not just my opinion, but less than 5%, and most research now is pointing to more like 2 or 3% of cancer and heart disease, and you could substitute any chronic degenerative disease. Less than 5% of those diseases have anything to do with hereditary factors or your genetics, and 95% comes to our lifestyle. It's how we eat, move, and how we think. And the way we know that, that's not, again, our opinion. That's based on a science called epigenetics. If anyone knows anything about epigenetics, it's control of your genome outside of the gene. So it's your environment that controls genetic expression. The way we know this is because they do a tremendous amount of studies with twins. And when you look at identical twins, how are they in comparison? Like, how is their genetic makeup compared to one another? I mean, they're literally clones of one another. So one twin has basically the exact same genetic structure, the same DNA code as the other twin. So if you believe the whole genes cause your disease theory, then if one twin has cancer, what should the other twin get? And it should be the same type of cancer, probably the same type of time in their life. And if one twin was healthy, the other twin would be healthy. Well, what they found in the research was that the correlation is almost zero. That you and I have basically the same tendencies toward cancer, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and dementia than identical twins do. And when they took that even further, it was always based on their lifestyles. So if their parents had cancer or if their parents had heart disease, that was the predictor of whether they got those diseases. So it all comes down to our lifestyle. And really, truly, too, if you believe that you're a victim of your genes, then none of this even matters. You shouldn't even be here because why eat the salad when the cookie tastes so much better? If you're a victim of your genes, then lifestyle choices don't even really matter. And we know that that's not true. So the biggest nutrition myth is that nutrition doesn't even really matter. Like a little bit, but when it comes to cancer, maybe for weight loss it matters, but when it comes to disease, we think that it really doesn't have much of an impact. And again, nothing could be further from the truth. We are what we eat, absorb, and assimilate. I would take that a step further. You are what you ate. So whatever you're eating, whatever it's eating is what you're eating. So you got to take that a second generation.